3, 2, 1, end of test. Keying with a go.
Well, hello there, and welcome to another edition of Warbird Wednesday. My name is Fred Bell. I am the Vice Chairman of the Palm Springs Air Museum, and today we are getting full-fledged into jets now with the next step. And this airplane, to me, looks like a pregnant guppy, so to speak, the way the fuselage, and you can get after me in the comments if you're a fan, but of course I'm talking about the T-2 Buckeye. Now, the Buckeye is the first step into what I call full-fledged jet training. It had a very long life and was an excellent trainer. Don't get me wrong. It was phased out in 2008. It had its first flight in 1958. It was introduced in 1959. And they made 529 of them. Now, the interesting thing about that is, although they are gone from the Navy inventory, my understanding is some of them are still flying with the Royal Hellenic Air Force. So what I have in my hands here today is an F-84. We don't have a Buckeye. I'll go ahead and throw up the plan view of the F-84. This is a later model, and then Greg in the edit can throw up a T-2 Buckeye. Of course, that was a North American product. It started out as the model NA-241. Now, the interesting thing about the Buckeye was the wings were based on the FJ-1 Fury, which is kind of interesting. So you see manufacturers kind of trying to blend things. Obviously, if you have a jig that you have the Fury wings, and you could build the wings and make them work on another airplane, that would make perfect sense. It saves a lot of money, and it's a fairly low, at a little over 500, a low production run. The power plant in that aircraft was a version of the J-34 jet engine, and this really became the primary training aircraft of the United States Navy. One of the biggest challenges with those early jet engines is they didn't spool up. You didn't get on-demand power very quickly. And so they were actually much more challenging to fly. And you can argue with me in the comments section if you want. The Lockheed, the T-33 is the same way. These aircraft were, you had to know how to fly them and be prepared. There's a lot of accidents in these airplanes, and you can see them in the Navy. Some of those, when they're coming on board, some of the carriers where they're short and they don't have enough power, and the next thing you know is a big kaboom. Now, speaking of big kabooms, I don't know, you've had some, most of this one is interesting. It has little dots on it, this hat. Of course, we give these to the kids who come through for the school programs. That one, I'm not really sure what that was, Jason. Any ideas? Cartoon character? I don't know, a really crazy Viking, court jester, very good, could be a court jester. So I got my my F-84 back on its spindle, and we're going to talk about our salute today. And our salute is all of those intrepid carrier crews after World War II that had to deal with these jets. Think about that for a second, where you're flying a bunch of piston engine airplanes, and then in a relatively short period of time in your life within the Navy, if you were a career Navy person, a crewman on a aircraft carrier, you had to start dealing with these jets. Completely different handling characteristics, and guess what? They were also very, very dangerous. Not only to the pilots, but the aircraft coming aboard and being launched. They were subject to a lot of accidents, and we've seen pictures of that, and we've lost a lot of really great crewmen. So today I'm going to salute you, and I'm going to salute you with the Shirley Temple, Hollywood's original. Did you like Shirley Temples when you were a kid, Jason? Greg at home? Let's see. This is a California cash refund. 160 calories by Orca Beverage of Washington. That's kind of interesting. They are not members of the Pure Cane Sugar Mafia. They're not promoting it. But to all those folks that made what we now know and we take for granted with carrier aviation, it all had to start somewhere, and it started with those intrepid souls that had to deal with the transitions. And I want to stop and say something. We lost when this video is produced, we lost a Growler crew, VAQ 130. I also dedicate this to them. Carrier aviation, naval aviation is extremely difficult. That crash happened up on Mount Rainier, but those airmen had flown strike missions just recently in the Red Sea, and it's extremely difficult when you lose someone like that, but it can happen on a training mission. So all the Navy folks that are taking those kind of risks, I salute you. Surely, man, Jason, you have really poorly done Greg's memory. This is actually not bad. I like this. I'm going to take a second sip. God bless you, the naval aviators. And all those crewmen. So, what was the legacy of the T-2, the Buckeye? The reality of the Buckeye was that it flew somewhere between the T-37 and the TA-4J. It was a good trainer. As I said, it was retired in 2008. One of the things, if you notice the seating characteristics, you can tell that it's a trainer. And a lot of the other trainers, you know, obviously because you'll have the instructor up a little bit higher in those aircraft. And so that's no different with this. The aircraft was built at the Plant 58 in Columbus, Ohio. Here's a bar bet for you. And now there were, of the 529 that were built for the Navy, these other export aircraft actually drove the number up later to 609 in the total universe of the run. And the Buckeye, right? The Buckeye is, why is it named a Buckeye? I just gave you the Ohio State. They were the key. So this is the Buckeye. But once the aircraft had a good amount of service and they realized that they needed something with a little more power, they went to the T-45. They progressed on, and we're going to see another generation of trainers coming in here relatively quickly. Now let me put this back on my spindle. There are a number of T-2s operating in civilian service for like air shows and things like that. But the reality of the aircraft is they are very, very spendy on fuel. They use a lot of fuel. And although you can get two people in them, they're not a really great ride aircraft. So there's not a lot of ways to generate revenue with them. And that's why you don't see them on the air show circuit, because a lot of the aircraft on the air show circuit really generate revenue on rides. And this aircraft is just, it doesn't work really well. We say, well, what about our T-33? We do operate the T-33, but the T-33 for us is a prestige aircraft that we operate a jet. They're not economical in everyday operation for ride programs or air shows. They just don't make any sense. Now, if you want to amaze your friends and get your kids excited about coloring books, check this one out. This is a nice one. This is, look at all this. Jason, can you color between the lines? I think, look, there's an F-84 in there. Gosh, they've got everything here. This is a really nice book. Great for kids of all ages, including Jason. If you click on that link, Jason will happily print one off for you and run down to the store. He won't print one off, but he does have them, and he will send one out to you. So click on that link so you have that excellent coloring book just in time for the holidays. Now, we cannot do all this stuff. We're actually standing in our jet hangar. This is our Miles hangar, and we have a ton of jets that go in here. We cannot do that without your donations. So if you go down into the description under the video, there's a link in there. Please donate a couple of bucks. We can surely use it. We need those donations to keep going. If you came across us on Facebook, please give us a like and a comment. If you came across on YouTube, need that subscription. I was looking at some statistics the other day, Jason. Interesting statistic. 17% of our viewers are subscribed. So the majority of you aren't subscribed. We need those subscriptions. It helps the channel. We could sure use your support. And remember, these are one-take videos. We do this one time, throw it in the can, get it out there. So if you know somebody that likes kind of one-take informational videos, please give us a subscription and forward it. If you are teaching the kids at home, in the description section, we have our free educational guides. You can download those. You can keep them virtual, take stuff out of them. It's great for kids if you're teaching them at home or you want to have them do some fun experiments. There's all kinds of things in there. There's also, if you're teaching history, there's some really great history stuff in there. You can teach the kids about aviation, but please feel free to take those. Those are free. My name is Fred Bell. I am the Vice Chairman of the Palm Springs Air Museum. Thanks so much for visiting with us. Have a great day.
3, 2, 1, end of test. King with a go.
Day, all my fears have gone away. I guess this means I'm here to stay. Yeah, I'm ready to fly, ready to fly. Wasn't long ago I shook at the thought of being hooked, but ever since I wrote my book, I'm ready to fly, ready to fly. Come along and join us, we can plug you in the simulator. We'll teach you how to dance and be the perfect imitator. We'll give away all your music to the operator. We were born with a light to shine, and we can do it in our lifetime. And when we get the balance right, oh, we're riding on the satellite. Satellite.
Saw them hitting the beat. The sound that emanated, it was really sweet. Told them of a Shire man bitten twice and gave a little old school good advice.